Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Digital Economy Campaign. I'm Ashley Blake. Data is everywhere and it never sleeps. With 2.5 quintillion new bytes generated every day, businesses, governments and individuals aren't exactly short of the information they need to make the right decisions. Yet a lot of those decisions are still taken poorly. Why? This is what we're going to find out today from John Marcus Lerwick. He's the CEO of Cognite. So it's 2022, data is everywhere and we can access it or share it with just a tap on a phone screen. So what could possibly make access to data a challenge for any modern organisation?
Right, so as you said, in our consumer lives, we have access to all data we need. But in industry, in asset-intensive industry, that's not the case. And the lack of access to data means lower profitability, lower environmental or higher environmental footprint, as well as higher risk. And the reason for this is that data is stuck in different independent silos, if you will. They're not connected, they're not available for us to make better decisions.
So can you give us some examples for the challenges you've just described?
Yeah, I think one practical example that we all know, of course, is navigation applications, for example. We know that those navigation applications are combining data from, for example, maps, satellite images, they may be opening hours in stores, restaurant ratings. They are normalizing miles, kilometers. So we have a unified view of what's going on. That's exactly the same thing we need to do for industry, because otherwise the people working on the industrial assets need to log into different systems and try to make it meaningful. So if you, for example, have a production line on an oil rig or an aluminum factory, and you want to optimize production while minimizing the energy consumption and the CO2 footprint, you need to be able to combine data from both the real-time systems, the maintenance systems, and how things are operating at the moment.
I see. Surely most boardrooms agree on the benefits. How can a company recognise that it's falling short of the right solutions? What are the signs or what questions need to be asked?
First, I think it's critical that as part of the core strategy, you have both digital transformation and sustainability, a core part of the strategy. When that is done, it's really important that you see that the projects that are being deployed are not just deployed as a pilot or one-off project, but are actually scaled out across the rigs, across the factories, across the plants in an effective manner to capture value at scale. What you often will see, though, is that companies have a nice demo, a nice proof of concept that shows that there is potential value there, but they are not able to roll it out. That's, I think, a key thing, a key issue that needs to be looked out from is, have they really been able to capture value at scale?
So how does Cognite solve this?
Cognite has a very unique software called Cognite Data Fusion that has the ability to integrate, or what we call liberate data from the different systems, and then more importantly, connect them together. So if you're an oil rig or a factory, we're able to blend together, fuse together, and make and get meaning out of all of these data sets, so that you can essentially convert raw data to business value.
What would you say a successful energy company looks like?
Yeah, I think we have two types of energy companies we are working with. Some of the oil and gas majors we are working with, they are really trying to combine being more effective at the core E&P business, if you will, but also use the cash flow from that to go into green energy and renewable energy. And it's very interesting to work with these companies because they take both the components, they take software like Cognite Data Fusion, combined with their cash flow to make both their existing oil and gas business more effective, more sustainable, while, as I said, investing into new energies. And then you have another set of companies that are really trying to be the most effective and sustainable and safe operations of oil and gas, because they realize also there will be a need for oil and gas for the next couple of decades at least to drive growth and supply enough energy for the world.
Okay, so we're living in an age of climate catastrophe and we're all looking for a magic bullet of energy efficiency and renewable sources, but how does data contribute to this?
Yeah, data is a core component of it, but you also need to combine it with industrial competence and, of course, a lot of capital to be able to transform from the current, energy scenario into the newer, energy, scenario with renewable, energy sources. We believe you need to start with the existing industries like oil and gas, make that, those industries more effective. The only way to do that is to use data and software to optimize and automate that industry. Then you can use the same concepts to also help transform from oil and gas into new energy sources. And this is not, done overnight. This is going to take several decades. But at the core of that, as you just said, is availability of data from all, both IT and industrial systems, so you can optimize and automate industry to make it, both existing industries produce more using less, but also transform into new industries and new energy, sources.
So to wrap up, what are the 3 key takeaways that all companies must remember?
For all companies going forward, you need to have a strategy that is digital and sustainable. It needs to be baked into the strategy. It's not separate strategies. That's at the core and needs to be owned by a CEO and the board. Secondly, they need to understand that to be able to be effective in the future, sustainable in the future, you need to be much more optimized than you are today. At the core of that is availability of data across the industrial value chain, from OT systems, industrial systems, and IT systems, merged together so you can apply algorithms and AI to optimize. And thirdly, you also need to be focused on capturing value at scale, not be happy with just individual one-off projects, one-off applications. You need to make sure that the applications you deploy are deployed across your plants, across your factories, across your oil fields to effectively make them both more profitable but also more sustainable.